Good morning. It is Monday, and welcome to the vlog. I am having my first cup of coffee in my poison mug. Um, it is, a little bit after 9. So I got up this morning at 5 and worked out and then did a few writing sprints. It is Camp Nano starts on Friday, and I want to try to get as much work on my current work in progress finished as I can before Friday, because I have like new goals and stuff planned for Camp NaNoWriMo. I am very tired. I've also been doing intermittent fasting, I think for the past 2 weeks. Or has it only been a week? I can't remember. Um, anyway, so I've had to start drinking my coffee black because I can't have anything other than black coffee before 11 o'clock, and I can't wait until 11 to have a cup of coffee. It was killing me last week. So, um, it's not my favorite, but it's doing the trick. And what else is going on this week? Oh, I have 3 books that I'm trying to finish this week. I am reading, do I even have it in here? I think it's in the bedroom. But I'm reading Simone St. James, The Book of Cold Cases. I also have the audio from the library, so I'm listening to the audiobook as well as the physical book. I have Katie Roberts, not Neon God. Okay, so I read Neon Gods. I think it's Electric Idol, I think is the next one. Um, which is like a contemporary romance twist on like the gods of Olympus. I'll have to find the book so I can get the blurb exactly. And then I have book club on Thursday, and we are reading Ross Gay's Book of Delights, which is nonfiction and they're like essays. So I need to finish that before book club on Thursday. So that is what I'm doing. And my husband is off this week. And so our kitchen is finally getting her glow up. I'm super excited. For most of the week, I will probably be, this room is my office. I will probably be in my office the most because right now our first floor is a mess. We had to take everything out of, I'll try to insert like a little video, but we had to take everything out of the cabinets, obviously, so he could take the doors off and paint them. We're getting new, like, shelf liner, I think that's what it's called, for those cabinets. So we're not doing like a complete kitchen renovation. And honestly, like, I mean, there are some things about the layout of our kitchen that are not my favorite, but short of like a complete demo of the space and like reconfiguring it, um, there's not really like another layout, I guess, for it. I don't know. And the cabinets, even though I think our house is 30 years old, maybe. Yeah, 35. I think it was built like in the mid 80s. Um, and like it was built in a time where they were still using like decent quality, like builder grade products. So, even though our kitchen hasn't been updated since. Like the cabinets and stuff are still in fairly good condition. And if we're not going to demo the entire space, it doesn't really make sense to get new cabinets. So we're just like painting the cabinets, getting new like hardware for them. I think we're getting new lighting in there as well. Um, so yeah, that's happening this week as well. So I will probably be spending most of the week either in my office or outside. Um, so yeah, that's what's going on. Um, so yeah, that's the plan for this week. A little bit of intro about what's going on, and I will see you in a bit. Good morning. It's Tuesday. I slept in today. My husband's off work, so yeah, that was nice, even though it wasn't the best night of sleep. My allergies are really bad, if you can not tell. Um, but I did want to update you. I am on page 85 of the book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. If you've never read any of her books, they're like, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like supernatural. They're usually like ghost stories, which is not really like my jam, but I really love the way that she tells a story. So this is about the two main characters are Beth and Shay. Shay is, and you typically get like two timelines. So there's the like original timeline of whatever happened to like give the backstory of like the spookier elements. So we meet Beth, who like in the present day timeline is, I believe, in her 60s, like early 60s. She lives, it takes place in, I want to say like Washington State, either Washington or Oregon, I can't remember, but it's like the Pacific Northwest. So she is still living in what was her family's home. We learn that her father was killed in the late 60s and her mother died a few years later. So by the time she was like 19 or 20, she had been orphaned. Her family was extremely wealthy, so she is just this very young woman living in a very huge house in a wealthy neighborhood. They've left her all of her money, and she just sort of spirals, as anyone would after losing their parents. Then there are a series of murders that become known as the Lady Killer murders. So I don't know if there are going to be more, but they talk about the first two. So they're basically, the victims were just kind of typical, like family men, and they are found basically murdered on the side of the road. They were killed with a gun. And there's a note with each body. And I think the first one says something like, we can either be like something along the lines of sugar and spice, are we sweet or are we sour, sort of thing. It was written in the hand of a woman, which leads them to think that they might be dealing with a woman killer, who the press calls the lady killer. And subsequently, Beth is arrested and eventually tried for the murders. I believe she's acquitted. This is all within like the first 100 pages, so it's not really like a spoiler alert. And we're learning a bit about like her life. She's never married. She still lives in the house exactly as it was the day that her parents died. In fact, she sleeps in their master bedroom. Nothing has changed. And there's a line about her, like how sort of vintage the house is. And then it says something about her sleeping in like new, nice, expensive pajamas, but she essentially like folds her clothes up and puts them in the dresser on top of her mother's. She doesn't even ever get rid of her stuff. And then we also meet Shay, who I believe is in her either late 20s, early 30s when the book begins. She has like a blog and a message board that she calls the Book of Cold Cases. She's recently divorced, and we learn that she was a victim of a kidnapping when she was around 7 or 8. A man kidnapped her off the street on her way to school, and so the reader learns about what a devastating effect that has really had on like her entire life. So it's pretty interesting so far. I'm always like immediately pulled in by Simone St. James books. I love the way she writes, which I think is why I continue to read her stories, even though like the ghostly element and like paranormal and that sort of thing is not really my thing that I enjoy. I don't like spooky stories, but in the other 2 books that I've read by her that have followed the same sort of model, I think that her books really especially center around the experiences of young women in a certain era. So I think the first book that I read was The Sundown Motel, and one of the main characters was like a young woman who goes missing in the 1970s. And so we hear a bit about sort of commentary about what our society felt and thought about girls and young women in the 1970s. The second book was, I can't remember, I can't remember. If I remember, I'll put it up on the screen, but it centered around a group of friends. I think there were 4 of them at a boarding school in the 1950s. And so we also have commentary about like how society thought about women and girls in the 50s, and kind of what their options were for, I want to say it was like the School for Broken Girls or something like that. I don't know. But it was really good as well. So, and then this book takes us back to I want to say the original like timeline with the murders happens in the late 70s, mid to late 70s. I can't really remember right now. So that is the update for that. I've only read 1 essay from Murawski's Book of Delights, although I did enjoy it. And both of these, this was a So these are, our library has what they call quick reads, which means they have sort of newer releases and more popular books that you can check out for a week only. I think usually it's 21 days at our library. So you only get 7 days to read a quick read and you can't renew it. So this needs to be read and returned by Thursday evening. And Ross Gay's Book of Delights is what we're reading for book club, and that book club happens on Thursday. So I need to finish both of these in 2 days. So we'll see. We're getting ready to have friends over to swim. I'm going to take some allergy meds and kind of get the outside furniture ready for that. My husband's made a little bit of progress on the kitchen, not a lot. Yeah, so that's what's happening.
I've had a really good week so far, personally. Like, I feel like outside of my personal life, this week has not been the best.
Okay, I did finish the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I ended up giving this 5 stars, I believe. I really enjoyed this book, even though, like I said, like ghost stories aren't really my thing, but there's something about the way that she writes that I really connect to. I have seen some people say that this one was a little hard to get into, and I do think it's a little bit slower than her other 2 books. But I also, like, sometimes I think it just comes down to marketing. So if you are looking for like a thriller that's, right, like draws you in from the second page, then yeah, this is going to be slow. But it is much more of like an atmospheric, moody, kind of slow burn, but I really, really enjoyed it. And then I also wanted to talk briefly about I joined a book club, and I went to the first book club meeting the other night and had an amazing time. I am a lot of it. I was going to say I'm a little bit of an introvert, but I am very much an introvert, and I also have an anxiety disorder, which has only gotten worse like over the course of the pandemic. So I was really nervous about going to book club, but at my last therapy session, I told my therapist about it, and I promised her that I would go. And I love my therapist, and I hate disappointing her. So I went, and I had such a fantastic time. But the book that we read for book club was Ross Gay's Book of Delights, which I think I mentioned in another clip. I can't really remember because it's a couple days later. It is a nonfiction book of essays, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. So if you're interested, it's a really like quick read. I can't remember how many essays they are, but some of them are just like a half a page. So it is a really quick and easy read. It is a delightful read, if I can say that, and I really enjoyed it. I had promised myself that I would read 1 nonfiction book per month, and I have not done that so far this year. So this is my first nonfiction that I've read. I picked up another one from the library, but it's really thick, and I don't know. I'm not really in the headspace to read it, so we'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to come on, give you a brief update about the book. The kitchen is almost finished, so if you want to see what it ends up looking like, you'll have to watch my next vlog. But That is going to do it for this vlog. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more, then hit the subscribe button, tap the notification bell, all of that good stuff. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you've read anything recently, lately, that I should read too. So I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.